What's good, YouTube? We're back at you with another video. Me and Kearse are about to lay down the top 5 teams in the NFL this season.
Yeah.
So starting off on number 5, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been up and down this year, but obviously they're a championship team. They still got the Honey Badger on defense. Chris Jones, I think, is out, but he's still there. He's been making plays. The defense has been getting better. And then obviously on the offensive side, they got Andy Reid and all those weapons. I mean, we all know them: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and of course, Patrick Mahomes. So I got the Chiefs coming in at number 5.
Number 5, I got the Tennessee Titans. Right now, they're a sleeping giant, I think. I think Derrick Henry's going to be back for the playoffs. Everybody's overlooking them because Derrick Henry's out, but Mike Vrabel's doing a great job getting that team to come out and play hard every week. They really believe in themselves. They believe in each other. They really rally around Tannehill and his story of being a quarterback nobody wanted. And A.J. Brown is elite, top 5, top 3. Julio Jones is still there with his experience. I think those guys are overlooked, and I think they're going to be a problem to deal with once the playoffs start.
Yeah, and they play good football for cold weather. I mean, being able to run the ball and being smash mouth on defense and all that. I mean, that plays in any weather.
Yep.
Number 4, I got the New England Patriots, the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick at the helm. They're getting what they need from Mac Jones. Nothing spectacular, but he can lean on that running game. He can lean on the play calling. They set him up for success on offense. And then obviously that defense. I mean, you can say that Bill Belichick deserves Coach of the Year when you see how each week that defense seems to be getting better and better. And I mean, you have to give the coach credit for that. Obviously, the players deserve more credit as always, but that's a great coaching staff, and he's a great coach. I got the New England Patriots coming up 4.
Yep. I like it. I'm going to go with the 49ers at 4. Their record doesn't say it, but I think that's a team that nobody in the NFC is going to want to see come playoff time. They run the ball. They got 3 or 4 different running backs so they can move in and out. They're just going to smash it down your throat. Kittle can block. He can do everything. He energizes that team. Garoppolo does just enough to get it done, but that's what you need in the playoffs. Try not to do too much at the quarterback position. When you have a running game like that, defensively, they can win in the trenches. They got Bosa, Armstead. They always control the line of scrimmage. The middle linebacker, I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner, all pro. I think he might be the best linebacker in football. Coverage, he stops the run. Those safeties are great. Their only issue is their corners, but I think that they are going to be a team to deal with come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good team. I didn't put them in my top 5 just basically because of the record, but I mean, everything you mentioned, plus they got an absolute game breaker, Deebo Samuel. Shout out South Carolina.
Yeah.
Shout out South Carolina. I mean, he's been on a different planet this year.
Absolutely. Yep.
Really fun to watch.
Ayuk as well. Ayuk is a great receiver.
Yeah, Ayuk's an incredible athlete. So explosive and fast. He's a lot of fun to watch as well. So number 3, I'm going with the LA Rams. They got Sean McVay coming off a big victory against the Cardinals. Matt Stafford seems to be getting comfortable in that offense. I mean, if this team could run the ball, they might be the best team
coming back.
There's been talk about it, so he must have not torn his Achilles all the way. It must have been a partial Achilles injury or something, because if he would have torn his Achilles like completely, there's no way he'd be coming back. But it must have been a little less severe than initially reported. But still, not even counting on Cam Akers, I mean, this team is just explosive. OBJ seems to finally be fitting in. And then, of course, Cooper Kupp. I mean, he's going to have damn near 2,000 receiving yards this year. The guy's just got it figured out as far as running routes and manipulating the zone coverage when he sees it. This LA Rams team is dangerous. And then obviously they got 3 Hall of Famers on defense. That defense seems to be coming together. Some of the no-name corners are playing better as well. But obviously Jalen Ramsey, shutdown corner, you'd love to have it in the postseason. Aaron Donald, Von Miller going to be getting pressure in the postseason. I'm going with the Rams at number 3.
I like that. I want to comment on that. I think they have one fatal flaw, and we talked about it, is that they can't stop the run and they can't run the ball. But I respect that. I think they showed they're a great team last night. So Great pick. I'm gonna go number 3. I'm gonna go Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs suffered from a Super Bowl hangover this year. I think they've been to the Super Bowl 2 years back to back, or they skipped 1 year and something like that. But after the loss, I think they just had a hangover for maybe the first 6 games of the season. But you see them starting to line up now. Andy Reid's still the coach. They still got offensive weapons that haven't even clicked yet, and they're 8-4, winning their division. Defensively, you are like you spoke on. They got Chris Jones. Those corners are playing well. Honey Badger, Willie Gay apparently is playing pretty good at linebacker. They're starting to establish the run as well. As you, if you pay attention to the last few weeks, they've been running the ball a lot more, taking some pressure off of course, why I picked the Chiefs number 3. Patrick Mahomes is still one of the top QBs in the NFL. He might not be top dog this year, but he's top 3 for sure. So yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs at number 3.
All right. And then 1 and 2, I think, both, we'll just see what order, but obviously, I think the Bucs and the Packers would be up there at 1 and 2 for everybody. Number 2, I got the Bucs. Tom Brady, you don't really need to say a lot more. He got the trio of receivers that are just killing it. They got some other weapons. They got Gronk. Offensive line is good. Lenny Fournette. People don't like to tackle him later in the season. I mean, that guy's a hammer. So he runs the ball hard. He's catching the ball great these last couple of years. That's something he added to his game. And then obviously that defense, they can get after the passer. They got some guys coming back in the secondary, I believe. And then obviously they got a great linebacking core. And they can really stop the run, which is huge in the postseason to get some of these other good teams off of their game. So I got the Tampa Bay Bucs at 2.
Yep. I'm going to take Green Bay at 2. They are getting Jair Alexander back. And that's huge. With those corners playing like they are, 3 Pro Bowlers, it seems like, honestly, or 3 at least great corners.
Stokes was a good draft pick.
Stokes, Darnell Savage is playing well, and defensively they're locked in. They got the running game going, and Aaron Rodgers is just. I mean, I don't think I've seen quarterback play that efficient since the guy that I'm going to pick number 1. But he's rolling. Devontae Adams looks good. He looks healthy. But Aaron Rodgers does have that toe injury. So it's going to be cold. And, they're going to test that toe in the playoffs. So we're going to see how that can hold up when it's time for the big boys to come play.
All right. So I'll jump right back into talking about the Packers since I obviously have them number 1 on the list. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is probably playing the best quarterback in the league right now. He's playing great. I've watched his whole career. I've really almost never seen him so calm and confident in the offense. They have Jair Alexander coming back. Plus, they have David Bakhtiari coming back, who is arguably the best offensive lineman in football, which you can't really expect for him to come back in that kind of form. But when he went down, he was probably the best left tackle in the game. He's supposed to be back. And Smith is supposed to be back as well on the defensive line, edge rushing. So they got some help coming back. They got some depth because guys did get hurt and they got experience. This team doesn't really have a hole. Their biggest hole is on special teams. They've fumbled a lot of punts. They've missed a lot of field goals. And if you do either one of those things in a playoff game, it could cost you just one time. Miss one field goal, fumble one punt. You could lose that playoff game. So they need to clean that up. But this team is on fire. They're my pick to win the Super Bowl. I just put a $20 bet on them a few days ago. I saw them. I think they were at plus 770 for the Super Bowl. So I put $20 down. I win like $200. So seemed like a fair bet to me. But I got Green Bay number 1. I think they're going to go all the way. I think they're the best team. I think it's Aaron Rodgers' year. Best team in football to me.
Can't argue with that. But I'm going to come back at you with I think the Bucs are number 1. I think Tom Brady's the MVP this year. He came in last year to Lambeau Field and won the game last year. I think they have the same weapons. They have another year in that offense. They all look more comfortable. It looks like they're just a sleeping giant waiting to play a real opponent. I think that defense is better. I think they're going to get healthy right at the right time. Those corners are going to be back. And last year in that playoff game, it was headed towards being a blowout before Winfield, I think, got injured and Whitehead got injured. They were just flying around the field, just harassing Green Bay. And Green Bay has not added a second true weapon to what we saw last year was they took Devontae Adams out of the game, and that was it, and Green Bay hasn't addressed that, and I think it's going to come back. Even with that defense, I think Tom Brady has the weaponry. He has 6, 7, or 4, 5, 6 weapons at his disposal. And I think they get it done again. And I think we're headed towards a crash course with the Bucs and Packers meeting again in Lambeau Field. And I think Brady does what Brady does again. When you think he can't do it, you bet against him and he does it again.
Yeah, I mean, time has proven it's not smart to bet against Tom Brady, that's for sure. And you're right, the Packers do still kind of have that hole on offense at the number 2 receiver. I mean, you can't say MVS or Lazard or Amari Rodgers. None of those guys are number 2 receivers in the NFL, even though MVS can get deep, but that's about all he can do.
Yeah.
And what it makes that problem even worse for the Packers is Tonyan going down.
Yeah.
I think that hurts that offense a lot.
Is he coming back?
Huh?
Is he coming back at all this year? Or is he
No, he tore his ACL.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. But still, I mean, the Packers have found a way to win, so they're obviously still good. Bucs are still good. Like you said, I think we're on the way to another NFC championship game showdown, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So who do you like as the dark horses? Who didn't make your list that you're kind of thinking about?
One team that I think is built to beat any team on this list is the Indianapolis Colts. I think Carson Wentz, if he gets hot at the right time, he can be the best quarterback in the game. We've seen him play at an MVP level before. Now
with Frank Reich too, and now he's back with him.
You're exactly right. He has the O-line he needs. He's getting more comfortable in that offense. Jonathan Taylor is a monster. He has all the weapons he needs with Pittman, T.Y., a couple other guys. Defensively, Darius Leonard is a monster. DeForest Buckner is a monster. They got some great guys in the secondary. I think if they get hot around week 16 and roll into the playoffs, nobody's really going to want to see them coming in on the road with that run game and Carson Wentz making smart decisions. I think they could take out anybody in the AFC and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they're kind of like those teams that make it in as wild cards and stuff are kind of playing like they got nothing to lose. They're playing carefree, no pressure. Whereas these 1 and 2 seeds, they got all the pressure in the world.
Right. Yep. We saw it happen when the New York Giants did it a couple years. They come in wild card scrapping, and they just caught fire at the right time. So you're right.
So I won't add to that. I have the Colts as one of my dark horses too, but some dark horse that may not be on a lot of people's list that I think if they get in the playoffs, they could win some games, and that's the Chargers. I think with Justin Herbert slinging the rock around, getting better every single week, the defense is getting better too, and that's why they're making it into my dark horses. Defense is playing better the last few weeks, and if they can continue to get better as they head into the postseason, that team's going to be dangerous. They can run the ball with Eckler. They can throw the ball to the running backs. And then obviously they can throw it anywhere on the field with Herbert's arm. I think last week in the air, he threw that ball 68 yards or something. I mean, it's just incredible the things he can do with the football. He can also run. So if you drop back in coverage, he'll go get a first down with his legs. I mean, I think this team is really dangerous. I think they can score 30-plus points against anyone. So if they can just get this defense going, Staley's supposed to be a defensive guy. The defense has been getting slowly better. So if they can continue to do that, I think they could be a dangerous team in the postseason.
No, that's a great pick, man. Herbert is a straight-up baller. I want to add lots of good teams, man. I had to leave out the Cardinals, who have the best record in the NFL, tied for the best record. I think I
have a bad taste with the Cardinals just from last night.
Yeah.
Losing to the Rams, they just didn't look like one of these, like some of these other teams. They just.
Kyler hasn't played playoff football before, and it's showing. He hasn't played it, and he's careless with the football. What's the coach's name? He hasn't coached in a playoff. Yeah, so you can kind of see when it starts to feel like a playoff game, you can kind of see that they haven't been there and they don't know how to react yet. Give them a year or two, they'll get there. Kyler's going to get there, but as of right now, they're not there.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, a team that comes to mind is the Dallas Cowboys. I think
Yeah.
if they can get consistent quarterback play, they could beat some of these teams. But Dak, he just hasn't proven that he can do that the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's not on, that's why they're not on the list really is solely because of Dak, and because I'm not a big Mike McCarthy fan either.
I'd add Zeke. It doesn't
Yeah.
look.
And Tony Pollard, I think, is out for the year now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think they can, not the way Zeke looks now. They can't establish any kind of run game, and Dak can't carry the game for 4 quarters, 3 games in the playoffs. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the list. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Peace.
Yeah. Join the discussion, y'all. Comment. Let us know what you think.